Yeah, sure. Good morning, and from me here, you can see in this slide some basic instructions about on how to use Zoom, how you can unmute yourself, your microphone, how you can see the list of participants. And we would like to inform you that the webinar will be in English language and will be recorded. Thank you for joining us today, and welcome to the third webinar about the Sustainable Development Goals and Women Entrepreneurship. Now I would like to give the floor to Dr. Haralambos Brasidas for the introduction. Dr. Haralambos Brasidas.
Right. Greetings, everybody. It's a pleasure to have you all with us today. This is a part of a series of webinars that ETF and CARTED are organizing as part of the project focusing on developing the entrepreneurial centers of vocational excellence. We're establishing a very solid partnership, and you will hear more about the partnership later on. And at the end of today's session, there will be a presentation for those of you who are interested to join the partnership and learn more about, to participate. And also several of the links will be shared in the chat. So if you have any questions, you would like to share them or comments, put them in the chat, and later on, depending on time availability, we will also give you the floor to interact and engage with the rest of the group here. We have a very exciting panel today, two big sessions. The first is we have a collection of panelists focusing on women entrepreneurship. And let me share my screen real quickly. So today's session is focusing on women entrepreneurship and sustainable development. There is a clear reason for that, okay? We are all familiar with the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, which was adopted by the United Nations in 2015. And that agenda provides a blueprint for all of us and all countries in order to ensure prosperity and quality of life for all. At the heart of these 17 Sustainable Development Goals is, of course, an urge for global partnership, global collaboration, with a big focus on equality. We cannot achieve quality of life without equality. And gender equality is a basic premise for all education organizations around the world and for all COBEs. And from the self-reflection tool and the evaluation we did with some of our partners, it became apparent of why equality is important and the need to focus on gender equality. And that's why today we have one of the key SDGs addressed, which is the gender equality. But also we have to have a bigger picture in mind. As we develop entrepreneurial covers, entrepreneurship is about creating value. And when you create value in education, you address most of these SDGs. Today, we focus on women entrepreneurship, and we have a great panel with us that will share lessons learned and also interact with the rest of the group. And with this very brief introduction, let me pass the floor to Maria Victoria, who will facilitate the first panel discussion. Maria Victoria, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Marino. Good morning, everybody. My name is Maria Victoria. I work at the ETF. I'm coordinating this partnership with the great support of CARTED and of my colleagues in ETF, and also with the protagonists that are the 5 Centers of Vocational Excellence that would be in the second panel. I'm very delighted to facilitate this panel, which includes a variety of speakers who have been working to promote girls and women entrepreneurship in the sense that Pam was just mentioned. So to develop entrepreneurial mindset and promoting entrepreneurship as a key competence across provision of training, but also organization of the centers in a nutshell, what we call the Entrepreneurial VET Center. So I would like to start the panel by thanking the dear guests that are with us. And I would like to start with the first round of interventions by asking each one of you to introduce yourself and what institution you are representing or what experience you are representing here today in a couple of minutes. And then there will be more technical questions for our audience. I would like to start by giving the floor to Dr. Anastasia Constantinou. Please to introduce yourself. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Anastasia. It's nice being here with all of you today. And thank you both to the organizers, Quartet, and the European Training Foundation for the invitation. I am my organic role, as we would say in Greek, is at the University of Cyprus. I head the innovation management unit, which is under the Research and Innovation Service. I deal mostly, if not all the time, with high-tech entrepreneurship, exploitation of research results from the research done in the University of Cyprus. However, I have been involved in women and girls in entrepreneurship for a very long time, being also an advocate of women in STEM, in the science, technology, and medicine fields, and also mentoring and training in various programs in Cyprus that deal with women entrepreneurship, irrespective of where this entrepreneurship or innovation comes from. Thank you.
Thank you, Anastasia. So innovation and women entrepreneurship, we will hear in a couple of minutes more about all this interesting field. I would like now to move to another very interesting project. Alberto Terenzi, I would like to give you the floor to introduce yourself and your colleague, Mrs. Nagy, and tell us just in a nutshell, what is the project about? Thank you.
Sure. Thanks so much, Maria Vittoria. Thanks for the invitation, and great to see everyone. I can feel a very positive energy from this group, so I'm very happy to be part of it. You put me in a good mood already this morning with your enthusiasm. So my name is Alberto Terenzi, and I am an education manager at EIT Raw Materials. EIT Raw Materials is one of the 8 so-called knowledge and innovation communities of the European Institute of Innovation and Technology, so EIT for friends. And basically the way that we work in the EIT ecosystem is bringing together education, research, and the private sector. So that's what we call the knowledge triangle. And what we think is that the intersection of these 3 sectors is where innovation happens. So as I said, I am an education manager, which means that I oversee specifically education projects, which are developed in collaboration also with researchers and the industry. And today I would like to talk to you about one that is really close to my heart, which is called Girls Go Circular. It is a project that started in 2020 and was kind of spearheaded by the European Commission, supporting the Digital Education Action Plan, and particularly to increase the role and number of women active in STEM and entrepreneurship and in ICT disciplines. So the project targets young women and girls aged 14 to 19. So it's a project for school. And it is really important because that is when the kind of choices, lifestyle choices, university career choices are made. So we definitely need more girls and women to create, a more sustainable future, and we need competencies that are around the circular economy, the green and digital transitions for women to be agents of change in these fields. So I will tell you a little more about the project later. I will stop for now. Thanks again for having me. And yeah, so Desdemona Nagy, who is one of the teachers that took part in the project with her class, is also here, I think. So as you said, Maria Vittoria, should we give Desdemona the floor maybe next? Desdemona, can you hear us?
We can't hear you, Desdemona. Please
You're
unmute
muted.
your micro. You are still muted. Maybe, I don't know if Cardet can unmute maybe Desdemona as a host. Okay, maybe there is a problem there, or can you unmute yourself? Okay, we give you the floor in a minute. We move now to a Center of Vocational Excellence, which is working hard to promote women entrepreneurship. And I'm talking about Gaza Sky Geeks, based in Gaza. And we have with us Iyad Altaha. Oh, sorry, you will tell us how to pronounce your name. Please introduce yourself and the center. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much. Thank you everyone for having me here today. My name is Iyad Al-Tahrawi. I'm the Startup Program Manager at Gaza Sky Geeks. Tell you a little bit about Gaza Sky Geeks. It's a combined co-working space, tech education hub, startup accelerator, and a talent development program. It's all of the above together, and it started in 2011 as a program of Mercy Corps, an international organization, an international nonprofit organization, and also from support from Google, the company. Our purpose is basically to do two main things. One, upskill and empower Palestinian women and men to earn income online. And the second is to develop the Palestinian tech ecosystem by helping the growth of high-tech companies that generate revenue from internally or locally within the country or overseas. We offer a wide range of skills and trainings, and also different types of employments, including freelancing, part-time jobs, full-time jobs, and so forth. Over the past 10 years, Gaza Sky Geeks has served about 23,000 unique participants through our workshops, boot camps, hackathons, and long-term training programs. So happy to be with you here today, and happy to talk more about what we can do and support with. Thanks.
Thank you, Iyad. So we heard from Alberto and Iyad about the importance of digitalization to support the achievement of equality and sustainable development goals and women entrepreneurship. Also, we already heard about the importance to start early, okay, already at the age of 14. Here, okay, Desdemona, maybe you can now join us and introduce yourself and your school. Thank you.
Yes, I'm so sorry. Technology beats me sometimes. So hello to everyone. I'm really honored to be here. And I'm from Romania. I teach in Arad, which is a western town in Romania, across to the border to Hungary. I am at a comprehensive high school, so one of the best according to the academic results. So being a comprehensive one, we are not very much focused on entrepreneurial skills, but I have introduced some programs in my teaching in the tutorial classes that I have with children, like JA, Junior Achievement, and also Junior Achievement pleasurably introduced us to Girls Go Circular, which is a project very dear to my heart. But I dare to look at it from the point of a teacher of English as well. So I teach English, and our high school is focused basically on maths and physics, but still we can have an impact in this direction. And I will tell about my experience with Girls Go Circular as an English teacher as well.
Thank you so much, Desdemona. In fact, entrepreneurship is a transversal skill, so we are very glad to hear how you combine it with the teaching of English language and more in general, how entrepreneurship has been introduced in a school. Iyad mentioned Mercy Corps. So today we have among us also an international organization represented by Mrs. Uma Kandalaeva, whom I saw a minute ago. Okay, Uma, good morning. Welcome with us. Would you like to kindly introduce yourself and in a nutshell, Mercy Corps to the audience? Thank you.
Thank you very much for inviting us to this very, very interesting forum. This is my pleasure and honor to represent Mercy Corps International not-for-profit humanitarian agency in this forum and tell a little bit about the very, very unique experience Mercy Corps have in Palestine throughout a number of years related to the women entrepreneurship, related to empowering economic stability among a young generation of Palestinians in the country, as well as contributing to develop the IT ecosystem in Palestine. And I have a colleague of mine who already told a little bit about the project and will be ready to share all the details about the project. But want to mention that this is not the only program which we're doing in Palestine. Similar type of programs with a specific focus on young women and girls involvement into the vocational education, into the sustainable economic income generation and the entrepreneurship skills we are doing across whole Middle East. This is one of our strategy of Mercy Corps strategy to achieve for the Middle East countries, and it's very much linked to the global strategy of Mercy Corps, empowering economic stability of the community members. And I will be ready to answer any questions related to our lessons learned and how we are doing it. And it's my honor to represent Mercy Corps here. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Uma. Yeah, you introduced another very important concept, the one of ecosystem and the importance of women entrepreneurship and sustainable development goals for economic stability. And we will hear more later on in the panel. One request for all the panelists is if you can please share in the chat the links to your schools, to your project, to your organization. It's very important that we can know more about you, that all the participants can know about you, because one of the aims of these webinars is also to support networking for future partnerships. We can only achieve in partnerships. So please do share all the links you deem that are relevant. I can see now already some of the links. Thank you very much, and go ahead with adding what is necessary. I would like at the same time to welcome all the participants. We now reach 39 participants. A warm welcome to all of you. And just to put everybody on the same page, we are in the first panel, and we now enter even more into the topic after the introduction of all the speakers. So I would like to go back to Anastasia. So with you are among your skills and qualifications, you are a professor at university. So you worked also on the concepts of women entrepreneurship. So what is it specific? Is there anything specific to women entrepreneurship? Let alone women. If there is something specific, we will not touch that. But women entrepreneurship, is there anything specific we need to know? Is it anything that we need to be aware under different circumstances? Thank you for framing us this word of women entrepreneurship.
Thank you. Women entrepreneurship, well, women in entrepreneurship, I would say that, and this is transversal to any type of entrepreneurship and anyone, has to do with many things which are in common. For example, one thing in common is society and how it perceives women in entrepreneurship and all of that. I'm not basing this only on my opinion. It's there's a lot of research being done on the subject, and I think the biggest thing is stereotypes and procatalypsis. And perceptions of how women should be and what they should do. For example, when I was growing up and I told my grandmother that I was going to go and study metallurgical engineering, she looked at me and she said, "Oh, whatever, just study whatever, it's good." She didn't understand what I was going to study, because she really wanted to hear I'm going to be a teacher, I'm going to be a doctor, I'm going to be a nurse, I'm going to have a job where I can go home very early to see my kids. Unfortunately, this is the perception still today, and it's not only in services and businesses, small and medium-sized businesses. This is also a problem in high-tech entrepreneurship. I mean, if you look at the women who are CEOs, co-founders, and leaders in any company, irrespective of whether it's low-tech or high-tech or it sells services or products, we have a smaller amount. So this is something that is still something we need to fight against. Luckily, there's a lot of organizations now that are encouraging, they're lobbying, there are policies which come out which help women have more time for entrepreneurship and upgrade their skills so they can go more into the market. Another thing about women and entrepreneurship has to come, and this is also based on a lot of research being done, is based on the self-confidence that women have or don't really have as much developed, which is also coming from what society imposes on them. Because from what I was reading in, there's a really big survey called the Gender Gap in entrepreneurship. And girls are always being told to be nice, to be clean, to be, they don't go out to play in the dirt and all of that. So that has to do a lot with the self-confidence they build. And this is why it's very much encouraged for girls to go into sports, competitive sports. And this is how sport is always linked with a lot of the professions that women excel in. Like you will see a lot of that happening. I mean, it's a very small thing to say, but it's very, very important. And also family is important. I mean, I have been in parties with my kids where I listen to women and men, parents of other kids say, "Oh, well, she's a girl." When I said, "Wow, your daughter is amazing. I can see her in a leadership position or an engineering job." The dad said, "But she's a girl." And I said, "Well, so am I. And I'm in an engineering position. I mean, I used to work in industry in a very male-dominated thing. It's all a matter of so leading by example as well is another thing. Women should mentor other women and help them come out, bring out their capabilities. We need a bit more of a push, I think, as well.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Anastasia. So in fact, you, in the framework, you touch upon the societies, the cultural values, the role models, and also how families can help, but also, so in all this, education can do something. You already mentioned about mentorship by other women. Also building confidence through education, through sports, so things can be changed. That's the message, right? So there are some specific challenges to women entrepreneurship, but things can be changed, right?
Absolutely.
Thank you. Let's move to the Girls Go Circular project and see what this project does in reality through education to tackle some of these challenges that Anastasia just mentioned. Alberto, would you like to share with us what in practical terms the project is doing and what's in it for the Center of Vocational Excellence to join this project? Thank you.
Absolutely. Thanks so much. And thanks so much for Anastasia for the great sociocultural framing. I think bias is the word that you were looking for, and it's really like a huge bias that looms over us. And this is what we want to deconstruct through the Girls Go Circular project. So in very practical terms, when faced with the questions that Anastasia raised, how can we make women part and agents of change in the socio-environmental transition? What skills will they need? What type of resources? We decided to create a learning program, which we put on a platform, and I shared a link, and that is called the Circular Learning Space. And this learning program is tailored around the age group of the project, which is 14 to 19. So basically it encompasses resources around the circular economy, and there are learning modules around topics such as, for example, circular fashion, e-waste, circular policy of food in cities. There is one on robotics. So these are all interesting topics for the age group. And these learning modules are meant to be gone through in the classroom so teachers can make use of these resources. And while the project has a strong element of gender equality, the resources are available to any learners. And we encourage very much mixed learning groups in the project, because only by communicating, talking, and learning together, we all deconstruct the gender bias. And basically, the project also in the platform has a strong entrepreneurial element because in every learning module, after going through individual kind of listening to videos and reading short texts, students always have group challenges. So they're to come together and, for example, develop a social media campaign to raise awareness on how to properly deal with e-waste in their city. So that speaks again to entrepreneurship, how to solve a problem innovatively through the lens of the circular economy, which is an important lens of the project, how to make use of social media to acquire digital skills, and how to come up with a structured plan. Or, for example, in another module, they have to develop a business model to dispose or like to solve the problem of disposable masks, which are very polluting and which we need to understand how to deal with. So there's always this element of working together. The platform has already been used by more than 10,000 girls in 8 different European countries. And I know there's colleagues from Cyprus and Moldova here today. So I just wanted to say that amongst the languages that the program is translated into, there is also Romanian and Greek. It is, of course, available in English. And one thing that I want to say is that it is publicly available. So everybody can create an account and just surf through the platform and use it. If you as an educator would like to use it, please feel free to go in, explore, and then there is you can either write to me directly, or there is an email address on the platform that you can write, because we also provide support to educators that want to use the platform, because they should facilitate using the platform in the classroom. And so we are always there if you want to get in touch, if you think that the resources are useful to provide support to you. Just to conclude, and I know that I have 1 minute left, but just to conclude before giving the word probably to Desdemona, I just wanted to quickly show you the platform. So this is what it looks like. There are different courses. There are 2 introductory modules, one on safety and etiquette on the internet, because this is also very important for teenagers, and one an introduction to the circular economy. And then there are 8 thematic modules, as I was saying. And for example, if we go into the e-waste and the circular economy module, you will always see the time needed, the level of the module, and there are these different tiles, which are lessons in the modules. So for example, we start, yes, with what is e-waste, and there will be some text and a video there. And then we go on to a global problem. As you see, we also have nice infographics that make it quite interactive for that target audience. And before my time runs out, I just want to show you the challenge that I was talking about. So in this module, for example, we have two challenges. So one is to build your own e-waste solutions website, and one is to design your own circular product. So the one goes more into digital skills, one goes more into really entrepreneurship. So I will choose the second one, since entrepreneurship is the main topic of today. And basically here, students are required to use Wix to create a website, and the digital design tool Inkscape, which is used to design products. So they have to conceptualize a e-product, so an electronic product, which has all of these characteristics of the circular economy, and decide on a brand name, values, mission statement, and logo, and then create digital resources like a website to promote it, and use a digital tool like Inkscape to really design it. So I'll stop now because I'm going over time, but I just wanted to show you in practice how this works. So please feel free to explore and get in touch. And yes, I would maybe leave the floor then to Desdemona, who is a teacher that has used the platform in the framework of our collaboration with Junior Achievement, an organization that supports us in training girls and young women through this platform. So yes, Desdemona, if you want to give your perspective as a user of the platform with your students.
Yes, thank you, Alberto. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So I fell in love with this course, you know, as an individual. I had to do it for the sake of my students to go through the content. But as Alberto said, he put it everything in context, and all the structure and everything. And I did it for me, just for my personal knowledge. And as an individual, I was caught up by the activities and everything. I think it's an exceptional tool to be used, and it's multifaceted or multi-layered. So it can be looked at from different perspectives. So even can be used for making children aware of internet etiquette, for example. And I have done this in the class with all my students. The lessons made them aware of what dangers lies hidden, and about fake news. And I personally have learned a lot about circular economy and e-waste and fashion and all the modules that he mentioned. So, for example, I did the robotics module with 12 graders, and there are two projects to build a chat box and a robot. So and this is a mixed class. Obviously, the girls are more diligent with the project, but they are on equal footing with the boys, being a maths, physics class with a touch of computer studies. So they work together, arm in arm. So for example, the girls designed a chat bot for customer complaint, and it is everything is on our Google Classroom that we still use, being you know, with the pandemic and everything. And the others designed robots. One was a robot, a potato peeler, then a garbage can checker, an AR thermostat. And the instructions that were provided to build up these two types were very, very clear. So they made use of these instructions, and obviously with their knowledge and their minds as well, they managed to do this. Also, as I said, the students appreciated the interactivity of the project, the novelty, and their attractiveness, and also the topicality. So it addresses these burning issues which all people should be aware of, and it can go into adult education also. Obviously, the project is designed for high school kids, so that's why they have young people their age expressing their opinions and having short videos. And also what's wonderful is that we have links and we have videos from companies who are at the forefront of circular economy. So we have all these, plus that these can always be updated. So this is also another exceptional point of the platform. And as I said, it can be used for CLIL, which is content and language integrated skills, so that they develop a lot of vocabulary, not only the knowledge per se, for these, to tackle these types, and also to be used in the future in their future careers as well. If we want to, it is translated in Romanian. So if they are non-native speakers of English, that speakers of English, they can use it in the class as well, and with different other specialities. The teachers of other subjects can use the course being translated. But I would also, I'm so glad that it's free, and I strongly recommend the continuation, the implementation of the course, and also it's not only about the girls. I think it's about everybody these days who wants to expand and to go deeper into circular economy. And for young people, it's about prospective jobs and about making healthy and sustainable choices as well. And also at the end of each module, you are provided with a certificate. So you feel like a kind of instant gratification to achieving something. And you also have the time, and you have, like a red circle, and you tick all the lessons that you have. So it's absolutely user-friendly, and it's a pleasure to work on the project. So I think that it's gratifying, challenging, and useful. And it's one of the best courses that can be accessed in schools, and it should be made widely available. So I don't know if I have any time left.
Thank you. Thank you. You are a great promoter and ambassador of this project.
I'm really not. It speaks for itself. I mean, really.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much.
One of the best courses I've ever come upon. Yes.
Very good. Very good. Maybe Desdemona and Alberto, if you would like to put your email address in the chat, so that our dear colleagues here today in the webinar may contact you maybe after the webinar. So just to make things very clear and practical, Alberto, so the platform is accessible to everybody, right? Free of charge.
Free of charge, free of any charge. I think just as a suggestion, if colleagues as educators would like to do it with the classroom, I think it's best that they contact us, just because we can create, how do I say this in a non-technical way? So a space for their classroom on the platform, which is something that we can do on the back end, but it's just to support them. But everything is free, everything is usable, so feel free to go and explore.
Very good. So not only it is accessible, but you can also support the use of it for the classrooms. And rightly, as Desdemona said, not only for girls in the end, but for everybody, to create a new society, a society that is more aware about circular economy. Can you just, as a last point for now, Alberto, can you just remind us which are the languages of the platform so far?
So far, we have Romanian, Bulgarian, Greek, Serbian, Italian, Portuguese, Hungarian, Polish. Coming up are Lithuanian and Slovenian, but the platform is available in any account in English. And there might be new languages coming in the upcoming years. And if there is an interest from colleagues that are from a country whose language is not featured. Of course, we're also happy to talk about possibilities and opportunities, but for any account, English is there. So that is absolutely available to everyone.
Thank you. Thank you for now, Alberto. So great opportunity, free of charge in many different languages and with some coaching, let me call it like that, in case you would like to use it. We move now back to Gaza Sky Geeks, which is doing some quite successful work to support women entrepreneurship and self-employment through digitalization. Iyad, could you please tell us a bit more about what you do in practical terms to support women entrepreneurship and entrepreneurship in general, and why it works well? Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. So we basically provide quite a lot of services to our community members. I did say we're a tech education hub and a co-working space and a startup accelerator, but to give you a bit more about like what we do, so we have many different programs, but we have three main that we work on. One is the technical education, which has like a lot of different programs to teach people how to code, how to design, how to become content writers, etc. So that's our tech education unit. We teach people so on a lot of things that they could do online. You know, because Palestine is a closed economy, we try to open ourselves to that, to the outside world. So tech education is one key component there. Another thing we do is company support. And then company support is on the startup level, entrepreneurship. So people who want to build companies and scale them and receive investment, but also on the service companies level. So basically we do outsourcing services for Palestinians. That's another kind of support we do. Now, a lot of other organizations I think are doing, you know, tech education, but what we think is the secret sauce in here, like what really is making the impact, is the fact that we're providing 360 support. What I mean by the 360 support is that we work at multiple interconnected levels to achieve our purpose, which is to make people earn income online. We don't only focus on tech trainings, but rather we also provide multi-layer support at different stakeholder levels. So at the community level, for example, we provide events. These are like 1 to 3 day events like hackathons and boot camps where we condense a lot of knowledge in a few days and a lot of experimenting in just 1 to 3 days. So we do quite a lot of events. We have 1 or 2 events a week where we introduce people and do awareness on the topics. And then there's support at the participant level. So we provide not only technical trainings, but also professional skills training. So if someone is a great designer, for example, but we also teach them how to land jobs, you know, how to win gigs on freelancing platforms, how to apply for companies, and how to win in the interviews. But also at the participant level, we also have a job placement team. So we have a team that is dedicated to help our graduates to find jobs online. We don't just go and tell them how to apply, but we go and form partnerships with international companies. Now, one of our clients is Google for Startups in the UK. And what we basically do with them is we have an internship program where they hire our graduates from the Code Academy for 6 months. And they make about, on average, $1,100 a month as interns. And then we have at the company level. So we're trying to work again, like with startups, we're trying to work with existing companies, we're trying to help create new companies in tech in Palestine. So that's like one key, that each layer of our stakeholder integrates the support into the other layer. But the other thing that is really important is that we keep track of our work. You know, like are we doing well? We do reflections and we try to do improvements. For example, we just did a gender gap. We just did a gender audit, and we found that there is a gender pay gap in Palestine. So we're investigating that right now, and we're looking into ways to improve that. But like some of the results that we found is that male freelancers are earning much more than female freelancers. When we looked into that, we analyzed that in some cases, it's just like the unfairness of that gender brings. And in other cases, we looked deeper and we found that, for example, male freelancers are working full-time, while female freelancers are working part-time. That's why you'll find like a male freelancer making a couple $1,000s a month, while the female is making half of that. So part-time versus full-time. In other cases, we found that a lot of the males are doing high-end jobs. So for example, they're doing coding, back-end development, front-end development, and so forth, which pays more than the jobs that females are choosing. For example, content writing or translation. These jobs have a lot of competition, so they do less. So the other component is we track all of our work. We try to learn about what's working. We look into the number, we crunch them together, and then we bring insights. We do that through dedicated teams that handle our data and drive our decision making as well. Maybe one interesting thing that is relevant to Palestine is that Palestine and Gaza are both normally conservative places. So it's not really okay for women to hang out and mingle with other men and be in mixed places. And opening a training facility with the goal of educating women and men, you'd see how that can become a problem. Parents or families, they don't want their daughters to be in the same place, for example, in some situations. But that was the problem that that's a problem that we no longer think about, because that was a problem from 10 years ago when we started. And we put together a lot of planning and activities to position Gaza Sky Geeks as a safe place for women, so that families know that when they bring their daughters or even sons to the space, they're going to be well taken care of. It's a place where they could learn, where they could dream, and where they could grow these dreams. We did quite a lot of activities. I'm happy to talk to you about them, but some of these were visits for parents to the office. We bring them in, we have them, we talk to them. We even went and visited a lot of the families to talk to them about bringing their daughters to the place. We also made it open for any female who wants to join our space, but having challenges with their parents, to come and talk to us. We'll figure out what's the best approach to handle that for them. A lot of the women on our team and our leadership team right now, they're graduates of GSG program and activities. And now they're leading how GSG should look like. We have also a dedicated gender and diversity and inclusion officer on our team that is also making sure that we're improving women participation, and we're making it equitable for women to join our programs. I went for quite a long time, but let me know if you have questions.
No, thank you. Thank you. It was so rich and interesting, and conceptually it was closing the circle that Anastasia opened in the beginning by showing us that it is possible to also Alberto and Mrs. Desdemona. So it is possible to work and make it work for girls and women to be more active in entrepreneurship and in economy. I would like now to open the floor to questions, okay? Because that's also very important. And there is the first one from Najib. Najib, would you like to express your question, please?
Yes, Good morning again, everybody. I was really impressed by the stories Iyad told us this morning. Very inspiring indeed. So I had a question. I have a question. You talked about the fact that you offer training courses in coding, but in my mind, I suppose that your beneficiaries or your would-be entrepreneurs are also taught other courses. So could you please develop on this? Thank you very much.
Yeah, I think excellent question, Najib. Thank you. So we look at training in two different ways. One is the supply side. So, there are skills that are needed in the market, like Node.js, like coding, design, translation, accounting, and so forth. In coding specifically, we look at Python, we look at Node.js, at JavaScript, etc. So these are things that we know there's demand for. So we teach people on these through different types of methods. One is the boot camps, like 1 to 3 days. We just did one on AWS, Amazon Web Services, which is a high-end, highly needed service. We do that in programs of 4 weeks. We do that.
Hello, everybody.
We do that in programs in 12 weeks. And our longest is a 6 months full-time Code Academy, which is, it's full-time, it's 6 months, and it's directed at people who graduated college. Now, the other side is the demand-driven, which we started working on a few months ago, which is we go to a company and we say, do you need to hire people? We're going to help you train people from Palestine and hire them. An example of that would be blockchain. Now, there's so much demand for blockchain development. Now we're working with a couple companies, blockchain companies, to train people specifically to join their teams or to build on top of that technology. So this is the short answer to that. Hope it answers.
Thank you very much, Iyad. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you. I can see that it's really a 360-degree approach that you have, Iyad. You don't leave anything out of the school. So the school takes care of all the aspects, including the families, including the salaries of females after they have been trained. So this, I think, can be taken in a nutshell as a key of success. Isn't it? Training provision is not enough by itself, right? Even the best training provision, the best quality one, you need to support in a much broader sense, right?
I couldn't have put it better myself. So you did a great job in that. It's exactly that. Training is not enough. It's good. It's absolutely impactful. But what else can we do? If you train someone and then help them get a job, you've actually done that. If you found that someone is not able to come to the training and you're helping them become able to come to the training, you train them and then you get them jobs, then you have a full user journey, which we aspire to provide.
Very good, very good. That was very rich. I'm wondering if there are other questions from our dear participants at the Center of Vocational Excellence that are in our partnership from Moldova, Tunisia, Morocco took the floor, Georgia. Is there any question that you would like to ask straight away, but also other participants?
I think Levan raised his hand.
Sorry?
Yeah, thanks, Chalambos. My question is not specific, directly to Iyad. Actually, I want to thank you for to be part of this amazing webinar, actually what we have right now. But my question is to all of you, to start this entrepreneurship, just because I wanted to say one thing about my college, that it's very unique by its professionalism and innovation, and introducing the entrepreneurship is our new challenge, for which we thank you for these opportunities to learn, but how to start to implement it later. And we are also going to cooperate and collaborate in all areas and fields to achieve greater development and success. And that's why I wanted to ask you, all of you, how to start, how to move the first step in this way. Thank you.
Thank you, Levan. Anastasia, would you like to reply how you make the first steps? And maybe also what worked well also in your experience, no? Accompanying girls and women to be more entrepreneurial. Thank you.
I will put my other hat on, because I was involved when I was working for the Cyprus International Institute of Management. We set up together with the Bank of Cyprus the first ever in Cyprus accelerator incubator, and that was back in not a long time ago, in 2014. So I would say to Levan, who comes from a college and has the professors, has the setup, all they need to do is to find a strategic partner that is willing to go in with them. I mean, we went with the Bank of Cyprus because it was part of their kind of CSR, corporate social responsibility, and set up this accelerator incubator. They put the space that they had an office, one of their offices they were not using at the time. And we brought in several other interested parties, for example, a big firm that would help the teams that would come in, or the individuals on setting up a company and intellectual property that they have and how to deal with contracts. Or we had a marketing company that was willing to help us with the marketing and branding. And all of these mentorship services, one of the big fours in Cyprus at the time, Deloitte, came in and brought their business development and financial services together. So we all got into this team, and basically we started out having looked at other models, but then we brought it down to the Cyprus reality. So this is now, I'm very happy to say, is in its 7th cycle since then. We also set up a training program, which you could say entrepreneurial skills, but how I always say is life skills, you know, negotiation, communication, branding, all of these things that you need to know in order to survive today anyway. So basically this is still going on, and the bank put some seed funding in as well that the teams that would be selected would get. So basically it takes an idea that you have, and then you find the right partners to go with it. I mean, I kind of like, if you like, copied or stole, as Picasso would put it, the idea from something I saw in Athens, a particular thing when I took the students, the MBA students for entrepreneurship trip to Athens. So I came back with this big idea, and we needed to put the things together. So like-minded different organizations can start together and then can grow. So that would be my experience sharing on this. Thank you.
Thank you, Anastasia. So the importance of having partners, good partners. In your case, it was the Bank of Cyprus. Yeah, how do you go and hunt for good partners as a school?
Yeah,
how do you do that?
I mean, so excellent question again, because like now I'm responsible for bringing in a bunch of partners on blockchain. I haven't known much about blockchain 6 months ago. What we do is we try to look what's in it for the partner to come in, you know? So it needs to be mutually beneficial for both of us. When the partner is an aid organization, it tends to be a bit easier. Of course, there are a lot of different people competing on that. But like when it's a company, we know they care about profits, you know, but they might also have a CSR strategy in place, the corporate social responsibility. So we try to appeal to both, you know, what can we provide them that would, you know, increase their profits, their revenues, reduce their costs, solve a problem to them, but also they could do that while knowing they're making an impact, you know, and they could also deduct that from the taxes. So it's a lot of different things that we look at for partners, but we look for strategic partners, right? Like we don't want to partner with someone for like 6 months or like a year and then that's it. Like our efforts should go towards targeting a company or an organization that's going to be there, that we align together and what we see the future is, that we agree with on their, you know, their visions as well, you know. So part of Mersicor. Oh, and another thing is we're part of Mersicor. So Mersicor is a big organization. They have a lot of partnerships. They're very innovative. So every time we want to look into an industry, we tend to look at our people in the HQ to help with that as well.
Thank you. So looking for partners in a strategic way, this is what I take from what you're saying, and combining equity with the profits. So this is possible. I don't know if there are other questions, or maybe if Uma from Mercy Corps would like to add on what works well also in other countries, in your experience when supporting girls to be more entrepreneurial. In 1 minute, thank you, because we are a bit beyond.
Thank you. We using advantage of Mercy Corps being a global agency. We have offices across 40 different countries, and we have strategic partners across the globe with traditional, you know, institutional partners like ECHO, EU, US government, British government. I mean, this is strategic partnership, as well as operational partnership across the country. In every country across the globe, in every country we are working with, we are developing very strong partnership with the local main stakeholders and main player in this field. One of the advantages which we have, we're doing a lot of lessons learned and exchange of information between our country offices. For example, there's great experience of Gaza Sky Geeks, which we learned throughout the years, working in such a very restricted, very conservative, very challenging environment as Gaza Strip. Now we are sharing them with other Middle East countries where Mercy Corps have offices and similar type of programs. We're adjusting operational model from Gaza, which it proven to be successful. We're adjusting it to Iraq situation, for example. We're having direct conversation with our team based in Iraq and adjusting, trying to figure out what will work in Iraq context versus Jordan context, where people having same languages, similar challenges, but every country having a specific contextual environment, which this type of program need to be adjusted to. This is sort of our internal advantages, making sure that lessons learned and positive experience in one country is very well shared among our network. We very often we're sending our great talents, for example, people from Gaza Sky Geeks who are trained and know how to approach stakeholders, donors, who are master trainers. We are connecting them with other offices. It was very recent example from Iraq, actually, when we connected them and they talk the same language. They talk directly, team members in Iraq, team members in Lebanon, team members in Gaza. They talk directly and they're figuring out what will work on that specific country environment, how to approach, how to encourage women, how to encourage environment, making enabling environment for young female participants to come to the training, to have a proper training, professional education, and to link them with existing network of companies who can accept and who need that type of skills. It is
Thank
very
you, Uma. Sorry, we are
Yes,
a bit beyond time.
understand.
Thank you very much. So what we can take is that Mercy Corps is a big network, is present in 40 countries. So also for the participants in this network, maybe if they want to contact Mercy Corps and know what they are doing in their own country, Morocco, Georgia, Moldova, Tunisia, and all the others that are around the table, maybe they can contact you and you can put them in touch with your colleagues in their own countries and share. So with this, I would like to close the panel. We are a few minutes later, but we started a few minutes later. So big thanks to all the speakers. And we saw that it is possible. It is possible in Gaza Strip. It is possible everywhere. And thank you again to all speakers. And the floor is back to you, Mr. Chair Pambos.
Thank you all for the very exciting conversations and contributions. I took several notes, but I will do the summary after we finish the second panel. So let's take a 5-minute break. And since we had a slight delay, let's be back in 6 minutes, actually, exactly, to continue with the second panel. Thank you all, and see you back in 6 minutes. Thank you.
Thanks, Charles. Thanks.
So I think time is up, and it's good if we come back to begin our next panel. Let's give a few seconds so everybody can come back. So we continue now with the second panel. The focus of this conversation now will be to hear about the experiences from some of our colleagues from the partnership, and we will examine some more specific issues in depth from the partnership. If you have any questions, comments, please add them in the chat, and later on we'll give you all the floor to discuss. So we begin now with this session with focus on peer learning and learn from the partnership. I will be directing specific questions to our panelists. We will not go around and introduce them again all one by one, but when I direct the first question, I will also kindly ask you to introduce yourselves, okay? So we will start with Najib from Morocco, and the first question will be, from your experience, how can we ensure the sustainability of women entrepreneurship in the market? So if you can say 10 seconds who you are, who you represent, and address the question, please. Najib, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. My name is Najib Hamouti. Currently, I am the head of International Relations Department. Hi, Levan. And before that, I was the manager of the Carey Center. So my interests are mostly about employability and entrepreneurship. Your question is challenging and also good to answer at this juncture, because we are doing a lot of things, and we think that we are doing a lot of things for the benefit of the cause of women entrepreneurship. But then remains the question of how can we guarantee the sustainability? I think one way of doing this is by going back to the nature of female entrepreneurship, if I may call it so. Because it's a question of gender, when we are talking about gender. So first thing is that women entrepreneurship is low everywhere in the world. In USA, it's 33%. But the issue is that in third countries, it's much lower. In Morocco, 10% of companies, only 10% of companies are created by women, which is, of course, very low. And so if we go back to the roots which prevent women from being so entrepreneurial, I think this will enable us also to define what is the cure for this, if you like, disease, which is a low rate of women entrepreneurs. So the profile of women entrepreneurs, according to a study which was done in Morocco, was that their age, for example, is between 35 and 44. So they don't start entrepreneurship at an early stage. This is one issue we have to deal with also. What is good is that 2/3 of them, they can have university background. It's good, but we will see that it's also not, it's not the defining, if you like, element which will boost women entrepreneurship. Most of these women are either married, women entrepreneurs, most of them are either married to an entrepreneur, or they come from an entrepreneurial family. For example, father is the entrepreneur, might, if you like, inspire girls to become entrepreneurs, and when women entrepreneur start the entrepreneurial activity or adventure, most of them, they started in relation to their professional background. We say that these women who 2/3 of women 35 are between the age 35 and 44, so they have had at least 10 years of experience, professional experience. So when they start the company, they would start in a field which is close to their experience.
Yeah, well, thank you for the overview. We will come back. I want to give the floor and I will come back to comment because it's important to also have a chat about why 10% only. And there are systemic issues as well for this misrepresentation. Let me go to Ina now from Georgia. How do we ensure that women then increase their participation in these sectors and have access to all sectors of the economy?
Hello, everyone. Hello, dear colleagues. If we talk about women's entrepreneurship, I can say that for our college is not a big challenge to involve young women or women in entrepreneurial projects, because most of our students who are involved in startups or some innovational projects are women or young girls. It's more challenging for us involve young men in entrepreneurial projects and encourage them to start their own business. And we try to pursue these young people, young men, to make some innovational projects together with girls. For example, we have innovational lab. This is a Fab Lab, which is providing digital skills for our students, and all our students are able to go to Fab Lab and study some digital programs which are very helpful for them in all programs which are provided by our colleagues, like tailoring programs, like plumbing, even cooking program, and all students are able to go to Fab Lab and study some digital skills. But surprisingly, just young ladies, young girls are eager to study, and they go to Fab Lab willingly, and they are very motivated to start their own businesses or make some startups and make some new ideas. And this is, I can say, kind of challenging for us. Yeah. We have very good stories, and we can share these stories with you, how our students start their own business and they continue to get some income and stronger economically.
Thank you. Thank you. We will come back to you in a bit, Nina. Now let's go to Cesara from Moldova. Can you talk a bit about your institution, what you are doing with regards to the implementation of SDGs and also gender equality if related? Thank you.
We consider that the CDGs are very important nowadays, and our institution is paying increased attention for the implementation of Sustainable Development Goals through the following actions: orientation of the curricular area towards the implementation of CDGs, some of these objectives being reflected in the curricula. Some of the CDGs are addressed in detail in the course units, such as Education for Society and Introduction to Green Economy. The institution holds an annual SDGs week in which various activities are organized to promote the implementation of the goals. The Student Council organized and carries out the Go Green GAFE action, in which they are carried out to clean and green the adjacent spaces. On the eve of the winter holidays, the institution carried out the charity activity Let's Help Those Sadder Than Us, in which we go with gift to the students of the boarding schools in the city of Lova. Also, before the Easter holidays, GAFE Volunteers Club carry out sanitation actions in the nearby park and goes with Easter gift to our former collaborators who are elderly. The promotion of women entrepreneurship in our institution is favored by the high proportion of girls among the students. So of the total number of students, about 65% are girls. A factor facilitating the promotion of the woman entrepreneurship is the economic orientation of the institution. Also, we would like to mention that the girls in the institution are involved in various activities aimed at promoting entrepreneurship through the business plan competition, the woman in a different way, advertising sport competition, as well as the annual activities held in March in partnership with Junior Achievement under the title Women in Business.
Great, thank you. Let's go to our colleagues in Tunisia now, and Murat or any other of his colleagues there. We would like to hear a bit about what is the importance of financial mechanisms to support women entrepreneurship.
Thank you, everybody. Firstly, we will speak on women entrepreneurship in Tunisia.
Yes.
46% of women entrepreneurs in Tunisia are shareholders and director of company. 34% are founders, and 20% co-founders, entrepreneurs. In Tunisia, we have some financial mechanism, governmental program and non-governmental program. We have in governmental program, we have a private initiative program of the Ministry of Employment and Vocational Training, financing and support mechanism. This mechanism to develop project for men and women entrepreneurs in Tunisia. They have the support grant. It's a support measure for the entrepreneur during the first year of the launch of his project. They have funds and financing program, for example, the Tunisian Solidarity Bank, the National Fund of the Promotion of Craft and Small Trades, the Bank of Financing and Small and Medium Enterprise, the Integrated Development Program, and the National Employment Fund. And we have another program, especially for women, this program of the Ministry of Women, Family and Childhood for the promotion of women entrepreneurship. This program, his name is RIDA. There is many advantages. A line financing of exclusively women project with favorable credit condition. They financing very small businesses and small and medium business. The financing is without any guarantee or self-financing required with 0% rate. We have another program, non-governmental program promoting sustainable development goals in Tunisia. This program, his name is INDA Tamwil Financial Program. INDA Tamwil working with the financial inclusion of populations excluded from the traditional financial system, particularly women and youth. The financial inclusion of vulnerable populations, especially women, and make a strong contribution to the economic and social development of the country through the active support it provides to micro entrepreneurship and self-employment for women.
Thank you. I think that's all these programs you described also justify why you have such a high percentage of women as founders or director members. Thank you for sharing that, and also to mention again that this project and partnership is building on the Tunisia case of strong entrepreneurship tradition and success. So thank you for sharing that, Murat. Let me go back to Najib, and let's talk about a bit about the specificities about women entrepreneurship. And in the meanwhile, the rest of you, if you have any questions, please feel free to jump in. Okay, thank you. Najib, the floor is yours.
Yes, thank you very much. So what we can say as something very specific about women entrepreneurship is that it carries the burden of the socio-cultural aspects of the society. Just a while ago, Iyad, our brilliant speaker for today, spoke about the context of Gaza in Palestine, where mixture of genders is very difficult. So it's the same here. So women are, if you like, carry this burden of tradition, etc. So one of the specificities is that these women, they are also mothers, so they carry also this responsibility of a family. But what we like about it is that they challenge the status quo. Even while being mother, they continue to be an entrepreneurs. And what is also something that we hope it will change is that companies created by women most of the time are small companies or very small companies. And there are also companies in the informal sector. So when I say 10% of women entrepreneurs in Morocco, of course, here we talked about what is trustable, what we could monitor, but we cannot monitor informal economy. And it is also a category of if like economy which is difficult to trace and to monitor. And it is also one of the sectors, if you like, if you may call it so, that where women are being very active in terms of entrepreneurship. Is it okay? Yeah, okay.
Yes, that's great. Thank you. So you mentioned tradition, the motherhood, the stereotypes, the biases we have to overcome. Yeah. It's great. Let me go to Nina now, and let's see about it. What are some examples of government schemes to support women entrepreneurs in Georgia, and maybe a good case study or example?
Okay. Najib said very good examples how women create and how they start small businesses, and men are involved in informal economy. Yes, that's right, and that's why the percentage of women's entrepreneurship in Georgia is so high. In our case, I mean. Yes, we have good examples when our students make some startups and they start create some things, but it's more challenging and more complicated to start businesses in fields which are considered as a men's field and which are more complicated to start and to do it. That's why I was talking about the men, and I was talking about the challenge, how to involve young guys to startups, how to encourage them to start business, to start gaining digital skills, so on. So, for example, I mentioned about the Fab Lab, which is our pride, the pride of our college, and it's a very well equipped space in college, and all the equipments are provided by our government, and this is the space which is providing entrepreneurial skills for our students. And after finishing the college, all students are able and they are equipped with skills to start their business and to be involved in entrepreneurship activities.
Thank you. And that's a good examples. Since I'm also conscious of time, I will go to Cesara.
Okay.
Maybe
thank you.
You can highlight a couple of the challenges you face, and then we can think of some practical recommendations from the rest of the group.
Yes, in order to improve the SDGs goals, we believe that this is the most important time to finally understand this and to join efforts to educate and strive to become better. And the role of vocational education is invaluable because the age group of our students still allow us to shape their personalities and steer them in the right direction. However, in the process of implementing the CDGs, we also have some challenges such as lack of financial resources to carry out some actions, reluctance of some public partners to engage in joint activities, and poorly developed community and civic spirit of some members of this institution. Also, even those at government level, women entrepreneurship is supported, including through the ODIM organization, which aim is to reduce gender inequality in order to help women gain managerial skills through business development, mainly in rural areas, to increase their access to resources, services, and modern technologies. We have some challenges in order to promoting and involving women entrepreneurship, such as gender stereotypes, which is also in the Republic of Moldova,
yes,
and the limited possibilities for technical vocational education to carry out various research innovation activities, such as workshop, laboratories, fab labs. This in our country, this is the sole prerogative of higher education. Not
thank you. That's very good. That's very good. I think we documented those, and it's important that we have this conversation to hear from others as well. Let me go to Murad and see, I mean, what kind of support do you think your center will need to integrate more SDGs and address some of these challenges? You already do a lot, but we understand that we can always go for more. Murad, the floor is yours.
Yeah, thank you. We need some guidance to include SDG in our center. Firstly, we start to introduce the SDG in the center's overall strategy and action plan with an explicit connection to formal and informal entrepreneur activity. Maybe also we need to adopting SDG in VET. So we will give our center and teachers the opportunity to integrate sustainable development goal principle, concept and practices into all aspect teaching and learning in innovative ways. And we broadens the learners' horizons and engage in implementing practical goals by looking at the challenges that their societies face differently and finding real-life solution to them that they are able to engage in. Finally, we need to develop a new pedagogical approach based on teaching through practice in connection with professional realities to train new learner profiles to strengthen the socio-economic partnership around the training and to promote the emergence of a model that can be transferred to other centers.
Thank you. That's very good. Thank you. Thank you all the panelists. Let me open the floor now to the rest of the participants here. Anybody would like to comment or ask a question or share any ideas on this discussion so far? Yes, but we have Murad and Maria Victoria. Murad?
Yes. I want to add for the financial action for women entrepreneurship. There is no governmental organization like INDA, Tamwil in Tunisia, and Mercy Corps Tunisia is also active in Tunisia. We have in the center the experience of work with Mercy Corps Tunisia for skills building for our learner. and entrepreneurship assessment and mindset development, maybe since 7 years. And there is many organizations who work to support women entrepreneurship in the financial way and the support way and skills.
Thank you. That's very important. Thank you for sharing. Maria Vittoria?
Thank you. It was very rich, this panel too. I would like to focus a bit on the importance of policies to support women entrepreneurship in the medium long term. So it's all excellent what the training centers can do, also with the support of donors like Mercy Corps or the European Union. However, I think if we want things to change for good in the medium long term, there is a need for good policies. Policies, national policies, I mean, to support women entrepreneurship. But women entrepreneurship is not only a gender issue, it's an issue for the society. Because if women have to take care of children or elderly people, and they can only take part-time jobs or jobs of a certain kind, it shouldn't be a problem of women only. It is not only a problem, it's an opportunity, and it is for the whole society. So policies are needed to support women in the daily life, or better said, families in their daily life, so that the burden, as Najib was rightly mentioned, is not only on women. So policies are needed, social policies, economic policies, educational policies. So whereas in parallel, we can work on stereotypes or role models and mentoring, as strengthening women's skills and self-confidence, we need the society to take care of the fact that societies are composed of men and women, and that children and elderly people are of a concern of the society, not only of women. So we can see that this can work, but it should be a transversal approach. Women entrepreneurship is not only a gender thing. It's not a cluster only. Otherwise, we take it only as a social inclusion aspect, whereas women are an economic power, and they can help the economic growth of societies and their performance and their achievements, economic achievements. There was a survey some time ago when they were asking what could be the emerging nation economy, and the answer was women across the world, but they need a support from policies. In order to have some ideas about policies that could be useful for your country, I would like to share with you that ETF, together with the OECD, we carried out the implementation of the assessment of the Small Business Act. Small Business Act is a policy index that can support countries to develop policies that are good for small and medium enterprises. Sorry, I'm taking a couple of minutes, but I think it's important. So these policies have been analyzed also in the light of how women entrepreneurship can be better supported. So there have been analyses about how women entrepreneurship is supported in all the countries that are around the table today. And also there have been put forward recommendations on how these policies could better capture the needs of women entrepreneurship and so at society level. So I would like to ask you to go to the ETF and OECD websites. You will find the assessment of the Small Business Act with the recommendations at policy level, also for your own countries. And that's where I think you should work with the policymakers. So it's good to work at education center level, at practical level, but also there is a need for policies. Otherwise, there is no sustainability in the long term. And thank you.
That is a very good observation. And thank you, Maria Vittoria, for putting a nice policy angle to the conversation. Although we exceeded the time, I think I'm going to give another opportunity if somebody wants to comment or ask or raise an issue. And while you are thinking, I will throw another simple question to our 4 panelists, and anybody can respond. And it's the following: what would be one simple practical recommendation you would give to a COVE listening to us now on how to promote women entrepreneurship and SDGs in their organization? What would be one or two simple steps or actions they can do? Anybody would like to comment?
Okay, I will say one comment.
Yes, Nina, thank you.
You were talking about the policymakers, and I would say that in Georgia, the government is providing the program for startups, for supporting startups, and we have experience when our students, they got this grant from the government to start their business, and it was a kind of cooperation of college, the Ministry of Economy, who was the donor in this case of the grant, and the bank who provided the cheap loan for this group of young women. And this is the story which we are very proud of. We as a college, we try to teach and to give all the skills they need in their way after they finish the college. All the skills, this is entrepreneurship skills, these are digital skills, and these are some soft skills we call, and all the skills are included and are affiliated in these programs which are provided by college. And after they finish college, we follow our students, how they continue their way to entrepreneurship, because our main goal is to support our students on their way to business, on their way to entrepreneurial activities. So I don't know how colleges can help these people in other way. We also help them to communicate with partners, which is very important point, because partnership is kind of most important thing for the students, and we try to invite our partner organizations, partner businesses who are operating in our area, and to make contact with students and these businesses. And in Georgia, we have a new policymaker institution. This is the Skills Agency, which is founded by the Ministry of Education and Chamber of Commerce. And this is very good synergy of business and government, and this agency as an institution is providing support to colleges and to students who finish their college to be more entrepreneurial and to be stronger economically.
Thank you. That's a very good summary. Thank you so much. Thank you to all the panelists. Let me try to summarize in 30 seconds, if I can, some of the key points that we've discussed and here today, and some key takeaways, if I may, before we proceed to the next session. We all believe that, we agree that supporting SDGs, integrating them, and at the same time, promoting women entrepreneurship is important. But we have a long way to go. Women entrepreneurship is not about, as Maria Victoria said, about gender, it's about society. It's about equality, and it's about all the things we believe we should be doing to achieve our full potential as societies. There are a lot of challenges to address: the stereotypes, the biases, the traditions, the long history of not equal access is there. So we have to work on that. Another key finding is the partnerships. It's so important to learn from each other. It's no longer about what we do in our center or in our local community only. We are all part of a globe here, and partnerships and learning from each other is very important. And all of you mentioned the importance of partnerships. Training and education are very good, but not enough. We need systemic changes. We need structural changes. We need policies. Policies alone are not enough either. If you have policies and you don't have action plans and financing mechanisms to implement and monitor them, then again, we will not reach the result we want to achieve. So this peer learning, I think, is very important. And this is why we are holding these webinars. And it's very important that we learn from each other and continue these conversations. And that's why we also open this here now for all of you to join and participate in these conversations more, participate in the partnership, because we believe that we are all smarter together than alone. So let's work on that. And with that, I will thank you. And I will give the floor now to Maria Victoria, if she wants to make any final remarks before we move to the session where Marinos will. You are okay? Great. So thank you all. Let me now, for those of you who would like to learn more about the partnership and you did not have the opportunity to have this 5-minute presentation in the past webinars, you are welcome to stay here with us, and Marinos will give a 5-minute presentation about the partnership and how we move forward. The rest of you, we would like to thank you. Thanks to all the panelists, all the covers, all the key speakers. Of course, thanks to ETF for the support and the key driving and the passion and the vision to initiate projects like this. Marino, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Pambo.
Sorry, Marinos, I would like, yes, before we start with the project, to talk 1 minute about the ENE network, okay? Because otherwise it's a bit... we are going for the third session now, and we are presenting the project. This webinar here is the third one of 4. The next one will be on the 10th of May. And these 4 webinars are a very important peer learning exercise of a project that falls under an initiative called the European Network of Excellence. And this is, for those who don't know it, it's a network that promotes cooperation and partnership among centers of vocational excellence in the European Union, but also in every country in the world. So ETF, thank you very much, Inna, for sharing in the chat. You see here the link presenting the network of centers of vocational excellence. You will see here what we do in ETF under this network that is growing more and more. I don't know, Manuel, if you would like to say a couple of words about the network before we enter into the project, or if you are okay. And then, sorry, Marinos, but we needed to frame the presentation within the bigger picture of ETF initiative, right? Because some people who are today at the webinar were not in the previous webinars. Sorry for that. Thank you. Manuel, I don't know if you would like to say something about the network. There are some participants, maybe you don't know it yet. Thank you.
Thank you, Maria Victoria. Thank you, all colleagues, for this also interesting webinar, which also I took notes of some of the key discussion, that also a strategic one on thinking or moving agendas forward on the policy level, which is one of our key objectives for the next months to come. Well, the Network of Excellence, ETF Network of Excellence, NE, is an international platform, is an international tool for the internationalization of the vocational excellence that we provide through different partnerships and different initiatives. A floor for you for Center of Vocational Excellence. Our network is composed by more than 240 centers all around the partner countries, European Union, and also Africa. We have a clear intention and also a clear mandate, working together with the European Commission on extending our network to bring you more partners and peers to learn each other, because our partnerships in the different initiatives, entrepreneurial centers of vocational excellence, social inclusion, digitalization of teaching and learning, going green, for example, and also the discussions that are all around the self-assessment tool, which is also our engine for knowing better your development's needs, is ongoing. And this is one good example of our partnerships, entrepreneurial centers of vocational excellence, and I am very glad and happy to be always with you. Thank you. You can continue.
Thank you, Jose Manuel. So for the centers of vocational excellence that are with us today, now around the table, please have a look at our website to see if there are other projects that you are interested to join on social inclusion, digitalization, going green, and so on and so forth. We are very creative in ETF, so we come up always with new projects on new focus. And now on this one project, I leave the floor to Marinos. It's a project that already started, but it will go on for another 1 year. So if any of you is interested after this presentation to work with us, please send us an email. I can put my email in the chat. I'm coordinating this project. And then let us know if you would like to join or to know more. We can organize a bilateral meeting. Otherwise, we can, in any case, see us again on the 10th of May for the last webinar that will be about how TVET centers can support business startups. We have already started today with this topic, but we will go more into depth into this topic next webinar, 10th of May, 10 o'clock. You will receive an invitation about this. So thank you, Marinos, now for leading us through this one project, what we aim at, what we achieved, and what is next. Thank you, Marinos.
Thank you very much, Maria Victoria. Good morning to all of you. I'm taking some seconds just to thank our great speakers for their great input. I think that was a very productive webinar. And also thanks our great consortium, the COVES, the protagonists, for their great energy and interest for the whole duration of this project. So what we are going to do now is to briefly present our project, the main aims, the main goals, and the main next steps of the project. So if we begin with the project objective, the objective of this project is to support the establishment and facilitation of a partnership in the thematic area of entrepreneurial centers of vocational excellence, and of course to support the entrepreneurship as an excellence and as a key competence for from a lifelong learning perspective. What do we mean is to enhance the efforts of the COVES to include more entrepreneurial aspects to their procedures and activities. At the end, what we want to establish is to have more entrepreneurial COVES. what is entrepreneurship in our mind? What is an entrepreneurial COVES? What we're not doing is to approach entrepreneurship with the conventional understanding, with the financial approach of entrepreneurship. We have a more holistic approach, a more comprehensive approach. That's why we believe that a COVE should include a lot of entrepreneurial aspects to their organizational practices, in the teaching and learning processes, to its ecosystem, to its products and services. So for us in this project, an entrepreneurial COVE, it's much more the conventional approach of entrepreneurship. Now, in terms of the methodology, the project is based on knowledge sharing, participation, and collaboration among the COVEs. The participants are called to use peer learning techniques and strategies. And peer learning is very important for the purposes of the project, since it can support the sharing of good practices, experiences, and ideas. Of what we're doing in these webinars is exactly the sharing of good practices, experiences, and ideas from the various COVEs. So there is a clear reciprocal learning, and all the network and community members share and learn. As trainers and as you trainees, you share and you learn. The same applies also in our case. Some more details about the project. The project is built is built on the Tunisian case. Our very good colleagues from Tunisia, from the BIZERTE team are doing a great job. Another fact is the working language of the project, which is in English, and the project is implemented in collaboration with the research center that I represent, TVET, which is based in Cyprus. Who are the protagonists of this consortium? Who are the protagonists of this project? Of course, ETF has the leading role in this project, and as TVET, we are subcontractors and we're implementing the various activities in collaboration with the ETF. But the real protagonists of this consortium, of course, are the 4+1, since we have a new member, and hopefully we have another one in the following days. So we have our protagonists, we have our very good colleagues from Tunisia, from the BIZERTE team. We have the ESIF from Morocco. We have the Center of Excellence in Economic and Finance, our good friends from Moldova. Last but not least, we have the lab from Georgia. And another new member that we have, a new enter to the consortium, is our friends from Azerbaijan, where they will follow all the following steps of the whole procedure of the project. The project is divided in two main phases that include 7 concrete tasks. I will go very briefly to mention, the completed activities. Basically, what we have done, we develop a conceptual and methodological approach of what an entrepreneurial COVE is, and of course, we develop the self-reflection tool. As a second step, we attempt to identify the 4 areas of common work. How we did that? Basically, we asked from the COVEs to complete the self-reflection tool, and then we had individual meetings with all the COVEs. At the end, we developed a report on findings, and there we identified the 4 areas of common work. What we are doing now is basically the 4 online webinars, sharing the 4 good practices as they were identified from the previous task, from the reflection tool, and the one-to-one sessions. And at the end of the webinars, we will develop a report with the key messages from the 4 webinars. What are the next steps now of the project? We have the task 4, which is progressing. There we will develop a coaching plan. We will do individual and group coaching sessions for all the participant COVEs. In the task 5, which is sharing. We will organize 2 online sharing sessions in order to cover the thematic areas from the previous task. And last but not least is the conceptualization, where there we will develop the final report in order to identify what entrepreneurial COVID is, which are the main aspects of an entrepreneurial COVID, the lessons learned, and of course, recommendation for the future activities. So as a conclusion, I would like to mention that in this process, we learn and we share. The same applies also in the COVES. So if you want to learn more about entrepreneurial COVES, if you want to share, which is also important part of the procedure, to share your knowledge, to share your experiences, since we are all from different contexts, which is also very important to see the the different contexts that we're coming from. So we strongly encourage you to participate in this partnership. And last but not least, we strongly believe that this particular project, it works as a platform for networking. So here you'll have the chance to meet with other COVES, to meet with other institutions, to learn about funding opportunities in the future. So if you're ready to work, and if you have the willingness, please drop an email to our very good colleagues in the ETF, and they will guide you immediately for the next steps of the whole procedure. That's all by my side. Thank you again for your participation, and I return the floor back to Maria Vittoria and to Bambos.
Thank you, Marino, for the overview. Maria Vittoria, is there any last words you would like to add?
Oh, well, simply, I don't know if there are some questions for clarification. Otherwise, I think we completed the tour of our agenda for today. And I would like simply to thank everybody for the great webinar we had today. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Maria Vittoria.
And I would like to wish a happy Easter to all colleagues of Orthodox Christian religion that will celebrate next week.
Thank you. Any last comments, questions from anybody? Okay, thank you all, and have a good afternoon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, see you.
Thank you, goodbye.
Bye-bye, thank you, see you on 10th of May. Bye-bye.
Goodbye, everybody. Thank you.